they are not doing a break-even analysis per location. And a break-even means, okay, how much of everything do I need to be able to just break even with no profit at all? Knowing what your break-even is really powerful, because it's kind of like you have this license to say, wow, everything else we do from here on out for the day or for the month or for the quarter or for the year, everything is just gravy in terms of profitability being able to flow into the business. I'm excited to welcome you back to part 2 of our 6-part series of what your bookkeeper should be telling you, but they are not. Here is the very overarching thing that we're going to talk about, and this has to do with procedures. Are you losing money, or are you being profitable in the work that's being done inside of your office? And this is a little bit hard and a little complicated to organize yourself so that you can look at this type of information and data. But once you have it, it's super powerful. So the first thing is we want to think about profitability and costs. And we want to do a cost analysis on each one of the procedures that are being done in the office. And as we get into doing that process, then really quickly, we're going to start to want to understand, okay, so then if the procedure is worth X, how much doctor time is it going to take to complete each of those procedures? And as you do that, you start to build out a model where you can see and understand that, hey, if I take Dr. A and put them on this patient, and I take Dr. B and I have them start working on this patient, sometimes it's a lot more efficient to have that first doctor be over there with the second patient and making the switch the other way around. So this is something that's really important and can really help you hone in on what your model is and how you can be the most profitable as possible. Nothing changes with doctor pay here. Nothing changes with any of that. It's just starting to track some of these things. Another key piece here is that, once you start to do this, you want to look at your costs benchmarked as a percentage of collections or of revenue. So that's a critical component of it. Then you also want to look at your supply cost per location, and you want to track that. A lot of times supply costs aren't tracked on a location by location basis, and that can get you really sideways, especially if you're trying to do this great work for your patient and you're spending all this time and all this effort because you want to understand the profitability. Without some of these things being benchmarked on a regular basis, you're going to see a lot of variability and not feel like you really have a handle on the profitability of what's happening inside those practices. Another key thing that the bookkeeper will generally skip over or forget is that they are not doing a break-even analysis per location. And a break-even means, okay, how much of everything do I need to be able to just break even with no profit at all? Knowing what your break-even is really powerful, because it's kind of like you have this license to say, wow, everything else we do from here on out for the day or for the month or for the quarter or for the year, everything is just gravy in terms of profitability being able to flow into the business. So I guess the way to wrap this up is if you can't articulate what each procedure actually costs you and what profit you make from each of those procedures, then something that your bookkeeper or your accountant should start looking at and start working on to help you really understand the business and help you keep as much of the profit as possible so that you can keep reinvesting into improving your facilities, or perhaps you want to try to grow or anything like that.